Hello, everyone. My name is Eric K. Thomas. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to one of our turned gentleman features, Mr. Nick Creegan, who plays Marquis Jet, who we now found out is the Joker, on the CW's Batwoman. Mr. Creegan, what's up, man?
What's going on, Eric? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, it's interesting though. I'm out in LA, and when I look out my window, it looks warm, but it's not. So, so yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. We're alive. So that's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I'm in New York, and I look out my window, and it looks cold, and it's colder than what it looks like. Enjoy
Wild
your
though.
LA.
I know it was like 60 degrees in New York yesterday. So
And this is how I get sick because y'all it want to change one way. I don't know how to dress, and I walk outside. I hate it. I hate it so bad, man. It's terrible. But enjoy. How what you saying is cold outside? What's cold in LA?
so cold in LA is anything below 65.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got it.
Uh,
I'm gonna continue with this interview right now because I'm upset. So I'm so happy to be speaking to you right now. The last time we spoke to you, you were actually playing Richard Wheatley Jr. on
yeah.
Law and Order Organized Crime. I think life has changed a little bit since then. How has it changed?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, like you said, I was playing Richie Wheatley. That was a fun role. It was in New York. So it was like in my backyard pretty much. There were certain scenes that I had to shoot that were literally down the street from where I was living in Astoria. Fast forward to now, I just wrapped season 3 of Batwoman and I was living in Vancouver for 7 months.
Wow.
So it was a huge culture shock and life change for me. The pace of life is completely different in Vancouver, but I personally love it. I
Really?
love I loved the nature and the fresh fish and all the sushi and everything like that I was eating. I would say it's a healthier style of living for sure. Uh,
Yeah,
Always gonna love New York. I love New York
of
to the
course.
bone, but yeah, living in Vancouver changed my perspective on what the end all be all would be for living experiences because
Mm,
I was in New York thinking I would never want to live anywhere else.
yeah,
And now I kind of opened my mind up a little bit where I'm saying to myself, home is wherever you want it to be. It could be
yeah.
in Vancouver, it could be in Montana. It really just matters about your perspective. So that changed my whole perspective on life essentially. And also
Mm,
the fact that I'm playing the Joker, first black man to be portraying this iconic character is
yeah.
just wild to think about. So a lot has changed since we last.
Since we last spoke. So wow.
Yeah.
So even going like diving right into that, was there pressure to like play this particular character, even outside of being the first black actor to do so, but just playing such a character like Joker, who you follow in some pretty big footsteps.
Yeah, I mean, at first when I found out that I was going to be portraying this role, I initially got really nervous. I was thinking of the names, Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, and Heath Ledger, all of these actors who have won Oscars in their own right for their own projects. They all kind of passed through this Joker pipeline, and now being able to do that as well, I was just initially I was a little shocked, but then I got very excited. I'm like, okay, well, if they've done it, then I can put my own spin on it and I can, make this my own. So yeah, I was really excited. I feel like after people watch the show, they can kind of see how Marcus Jet has his own swag and I put my own charisma into it. So it's the type of character that you hate him, but you also love him in certain aspects and you kind of have
Yeah.
this back and forth with yourself on I don't know if I want to hang out with this dude or if I want to call the cops. You know?
Yeah. But I always feel like the Joker character was always, he wasn't like completely evil. Like you always had a piece of it where you kind of understood where he was coming from. There's
Right.
always like,
Right.
I guess maybe it's like angel, devil on your shoulder type thing, but it's kind of like, I kind of see what he's saying,
Yeah, always this empathy aspect where you're like, like I remember watching Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and that was the first time that I said, "Oh, I don't know if I like Bruce Wayne and his family. Like they're pretty much 1%. Like
Yeah,
why am I rooting for this person as opposed to rooting for the character that actually deals with what most of us deal with on a daily basis, which
right.
is not being seen fully, which is being overlooked, which is not being heard because you're not the 1%. So
Yeah,
it's one of those situations where it confuses you as an audience member. And I
yeah.
love that. I love confusing people because I think characters are supposed to be multi-layered and you're not
Yeah,
supposed to hate them fully and you're not supposed to love them fully. There's always going to be this weird anti-hero kind of aspect to all of
right,
us. So
right. No, no, that's so true. And it's always, I always feel like those type of characters bring out really the talent in the actors too, to be able to, like, if I hate you, because of your character, you did good. Like, you did good,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
I appreciate that. But that's awesome. But even talking about kind of, people's impressions or kind of first looks of you being this character, fanboys and girls of DC Comics, give me a little ruthless. How has that kind of, I would just say, like, the little trolls and things like that. Have you felt any kind of like trolling from people when they did find out that you were this
I'm,
character?
it's interesting. Like, obviously, not everybody is going to love what you're doing, and not everybody's going to hate it. It's going to be a mixture of everything. That's kind of what you sign up for when you
Yeah,
decide to be a public-facing figure. So,
yeah.
initially when I got the role and people found out, of course, you get tons of love, but then there are also the people, somehow they find my email address or whatever, and they
Wow.
yeah, this one dude, I'm not gonna say exactly what he said, but he
Yeah.
sent me an email and it had like 5 words in it. The email title was Joker, and he basically was like, "You are not the motherfucking Joker." And
Oh my God.
yeah. So
Wow.
but I kind of look at that and I laugh and I'm like, at least he's watching, at least he knows what's up.
He's
At least,
watching.
we got more eyes on it. That's all you can ask for. I don't
Exactly.
ask for people to love what I do. I just ask for
Mhm.
people to understand that this is my art and you could choose to
Yeah.
like it or not. But the more people that watch it and see it, I
Yeah.
feel honored, if anything.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's crazy. And that's what's so wild is that I always think, because I'm not that type of person. I don't care that much to go find the actor, their email, phone number, do all that type of stuff. But it's very
People
intriguing. I'll
care.
die
Let me
hard.
tell you, people are out here really, even on a positive note on it. Like I remember shooting certain scenes in Vancouver, and we would come outside, leaving the actual building we're filming at,
Yeah.
getting in the van, going to wherever we're going, and I would come outside, and people would literally have pictures of me with markers, and they're like, "Can you please sign this and take a picture?"
Wow.
I'm like, hold on, how did y'all even know we were here? How did y'all like this is not it's not like there's a tweet on where we're filming.
Right,
So
right, right, right.
they find a way to know where you're at,
Wow.
it's incredible how deep people go with it.
Wow. Wow. Well, like you said, as long as they're watching, that's all that matters. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. So your version of Joker, very stylish, from suits to purple hair, and I feel like your character has found a way to stay true to your original material, but with the fashionable twist to it. What was that process like, and kind of how involved you were in kind of like that piece as well?
Yeah, so when I initially got out to Vancouver, the first two departments that I met with was the hair department and the costume department. So the hair department, I was very excited because, initially she was like, okay, I want us to like shock everybody with your hairstyles. Like I want this Joker to be unapologetically a person of color. Like
Mm,
we're not gonna straighten your hair or any of that. We're not gonna do any of the Joker hairstyles of the past. We want him to have coils. We want him to have, lock patterns. We want
wow.
there to be plaits and twists and all of that. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's
They're like,
do it.
what
Yeah.
color? Well, would you be comfortable with going with purple hair since we're not going to use green? I'm like, absolutely, yeah, let's. So that was a lot of fun going through that whole process with the hair department,
Yeah.
figuring out. 'Cause I was with them, each episode, like helping them decide. I'm like, oh, this one, I think we should do like the Killmonger, like,
Yeah. Little
yeah,
swoop.
swoop, yeah, yeah, yeah. And with the costume department, I initially had Jared Leto's Joker in my mind because he was the first Joker to kind of have streetwear style and high fashion. And I'm like, okay, I want to be able to do something like that. I want Marcus Jet to be a style icon on the show and wear gold chains and Jordans and whatever else he might want to wear, but also, still have that clown aspect. So
Yeah.
like my favorite outfit personally was the one from last night's episode 12. He had on like
Mhm.
this white leather jacket that was dyed with orange paint and it had studs on it, a clown
Yeah.
t-shirt with the chains. So yeah, I was very much involved in that process and that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. 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 So talking about your style, how do you define your style? And did growing up in White Plains, New York, did that kind of impact it a little bit?
Yeah, so I would just define my style as very much my own. I love to be cozy. I wear a lot of hoodies, a lot
Yeah.
of comfortable clothing. If I can,
Yeah.
if you'll allow me to wear a sweatsuit to the event, then I will be at the event in a sweatsuit. But also keep it fashion. You know what I mean? Like I like
Yeah.
good quality things. So for me, I really just I'm all about comfort and feeling
Hmm.
in my own. I want to feel comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
I do follow certain trends, but not all of them. I kind of like to keep things classic.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing a sweatsuit, I might have on a Nike sweatsuit and some Prada boots. That
Hmm.
might be my one like piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like to mix things together. And growing up in Greenburgh, the town of Greenburgh, within the city of White Plains,
Yeah.
we always had to be the second fiddle to everybody in the five boroughs. And everybody's like, "Oh, you live upstate." I'm like, "No, upstate is Syracuse and
Right.
Albany. This is not
Right.
upstate. I'm 15 minutes from the Bronx." So, yeah, we always had to like define ourselves as our own community. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that it definitely had an impact on how I dress.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about your production company,
Yep.
Broken Wit Media, right? So how do you intend to move the culture forward with that production company and just kind of what that focus of the production company is?
Yeah, so one of my best friends, Kwame Onuachi, and myself, we decided to co-found this company in the middle of COVID. So we really haven't been able to have any projects actually be greenlit yet based on our
Yeah,
schedules and the impact of COVID. But we've been designing some pitches that are very much authentic to who we are. And the beauty about having your own production company is you decide what content you want to put out there. You're not waiting for somebody to come to you and say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" We're like, "No, we're gonna do this," and you could decide to go with it, or somebody else could decide to go with it, or we could just produce it ourselves. So we want to be able to shake up the industry in the sense of putting things that are unapologetically ourselves out there. We have this one unscripted show that we're shopping around right now that would be amazing if we get it. The only thing I could say is it includes a Lamborghini in it. Um, so
okay.
yeah, I feel like the thing that Kwame and I care about the most is knowing that there were times where we felt voiceless in the
Mm,
industry. You're going on either if you're going on countless auditions for acting, or if he's a chef. So if you're a chef and you want to have your own show and you're like pitching things and people just aren't seeing it the way they're like, no, we want to do it this way. So we want to just make sure that we can claim our own space and carve out a niche for ourselves, but not only just ourselves, other artists as well. Like we want
yeah,
to be able to meet with like-minded people that have great ideas and they just don't know how to navigate going about getting it to the studios. And
yeah.
we plan on leveraging our relationships with industry people to be able to have those ideas heard.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I always say too, there's so many creatives. Like everybody has ideas, everything's great, but it's like getting to that next step. Nobody knows what to do, or there's no guide. Do this, check one, check two.
Right.
But having someone come in, to be able to, well, this is the direction you should go, or this is who you should speak with, or whatever. Those connections are important, and I think us as a community, we don't do enough of that about leveraging the opportunities that we have. So to see that you're doing this, and that's like, you like focusing on that. It's amazing, man.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate
Of
that, man.
course, of course. So also, before this acting thing, you also were a former journalist and kind of talking about, the media and kind of its impact on the culture. I want to know, what role do you think the media plays in spreading of like breaking news and like cultural events and things like that?
Yeah, I mean the media can work on both sides. I've been in the media, and I'm comfortable saying this. Like there are times where the media to me is super toxic and like
Mm,
spread fear and has an agenda. But then there are other times where the media keeps us very much informed. So I'm careful of where I digest my information,
yeah,
and I feel like especially when it comes to the climate that we're in right now. I try my best not to really watch any one-sided end of the spectrum. I kind of like to form my own opinion on what's going on. So I try to read like strictly the facts. And there
yeah,
are certain outlets that I love getting my information from. Um, but I feel like the media, it's what shapes our views on everything, right? So
hmm,
we have to be very mindful of what we're digesting,
yeah,
because subconsciously you might see something on the news and it forms your opinion on five other things just based off what somebody's saying on a television
yeah,
screen,
yeah.
not knowing their actual intention. So I'm very mindful with what I digest, but also I still am a journalist at heart. So I'm still the type of person that asks a lot of questions.
Hmm.
And I love seeing people make their own strides in the media world. Like you guys over at the Q Gentleman, it's really incredible to see because
Thank you.
we're carving out our own niches in a lot of ways. So
Hmm.
I love interviews like this because it's like I'm speaking to a real person still. You're not
Yeah, yeah.
tied up with some like, you know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. And it's like also having real conversations. And I think
Mhm.
it's also important for us to have, conversations again in our community. Like, let's talk about what's going on, how we feel, and I don't think we really had a real proper platform to be able to do that,
Right.
and intentional in those things. And I also feel like, well, I guess I'll ask you, what do you feel like for media, what type of care should they have in regards to approaching certain subject matters? Like, is there, you don't want to have the put your kitty gloves on, but you still want to be informative?
Right. I mean, I feel like just there should be no rule to what you decide to talk about. Like I think you
Hmm.
should be able to, if it's happening, then it should be able to be spoken about, right? But it's for me, it's whenever people like put their own spin on it and they're not
Yeah,
talking about the facts anymore and it's
yeah,
all opinion. And I'm
yeah,
like, well, this isn't really news anymore. This is more
yeah,
so like an op-ed column,
yeah.
um, which is fine, but just let it be known that this is what it is,
This is what it is. Right, right. No,
be
I agree.
clear on what it is. That's all.
I agree. I agree. And what do you think from a social media perspective, just on more about like shifting the culture? How do you think social media and kind of like the new Instagram and TikTok and all those things, how do you feel about those platforms and being
Oh,
able to, push that narrative?
I feel like all those platforms are incredible. Like everything has two sides to the coin, obviously. But in terms of for a content creator or somebody who's an investigative journalist or whatever it might be,
Yeah,
for me, I mean, Instagram is the reason why I, quote unquote, was able to catapult into this industry.
wow.
Um, I made this skit on Instagram video and
Yeah,
it went viral. And after that, I got cast in David Makes Man, which was my first TV show project.
yeah,
So I think, the beauty of where we're at right now as a culture is we have so many creators that they don't have to wait for something to be handed to them. They're creating every day whenever they want. So yeah, I feel like right now the culture is shifting towards a more creative landscape, which is great.
good, good, good. Now, I'm not saying COVID-19 is over. We still got to deal with that. But when the mandates and everything has been released, what are you most looking forward to doing?
Not wearing a mask, tired of it. Yeah. Honestly, that's it. Because I mean, I haven't stopped. I still have been able to travel. I've been going back and forth for work to Canada, to New York. I've had to be outside. So I feel like the thing I'm looking forward to the most is not wearing a mask. I am tired of it. honestly.
Listen, I feel like at some point when the summer comes and then we are outside and we still have masks, then we're gonna have like these shades, these tans and stuff that's
The other
really
day,
gonna
I
mess
saw
us
somebody
up.
driving their car by themselves with the windows up with a mask on.
See?
And I'm like, nah, see, this is not what that's the culture is not supposed to be shifting that way. So,
Exactly. I agree. Talking about culture, I do want to know what were some of the Black cult classics that kind of inspired you growing up?
oh yeah, I mean, Friday. I was watching Friday yesterday. I watched it yesterday. Friday is a big one. In Living Color on TV, that shaped me a whole lot. Jamie Foxx on there and the Waynes and even Jim Carrey, like those people, they really inspired me as an artist. The Jamie Foxx show, the Wayne's brothers, um, a lot of those comedic influences kind of came on me as a child because
Mhm.
I loved entertaining my family. I loved being the one who had all the jokes. So definitely those. And I'm trying to think what other movies. I really actually, even though a lot of people say it's not a good movie. Like Soul Plane was fun, man. I love Soul Plane. That was a lot of fun.
Soul
Uh,
Plane was hilarious.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
hilarious.
And then on a more dramatic sense, Boys in the Hood. That was another classic that
Yeah,
influenced me for sure.
yeah. Awesome. So, real quick, if every man in their closet had to have three things, what were those three things that you said must have in your closet?
Every man should have at least one blazer that they can wear to any type of event. It has to be
Uh,
something that can be dressed up or dressed down.
yep.
You gotta have a pair of good shoes.
Hmm.
That's necessity. And the
Yep.
third, I would say, you should definitely have a pair of pants that can be worn at any event too. Like those three items, if you
Yep.
have a cool pair of like dark denim jeans,
Hmm.
cool blazer,
Yep.
and some shoes that you could dress up or dress down, then you're pretty much ready for any event. Like always have that ready because you never know who's gonna call you and tell you to show up.
No, show up so you
Yeah,
can pop up and be ready. That's what I'm
exactly.
talking about. And I got two more questions. One question is, what do you want people to feel after they watch this last season of Batwoman?
I just want them to be able to know that they should feel empathy towards all different types of people because there's so many different types of topics and conversations that Batwoman delves into. And from my perspective, mental health is a huge one. So have empathy for
Mm,
people that are dealing with mental health issues.
awesome. And what can we look forward to from Mr. Nick Creegan?
I mean, you could look forward to me continuing to spread my views on life and philosophy on life on Twitter and Instagram. You know, you can
Right.
always look forward to my small blurbs about what I'm thinking. Uh,
Right.
and hopefully a lot more art. I would love to continue to keep working and I appreciate the fact that people have been enjoying what I've been putting out there. So yeah, I want to just continue to keep doing this thing.
Perfect. Well, you guys heard it. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, Instagram. Let them know where they can follow you again.
Everybody can follow me at Nick Creegan. That's Creegan.
Perfect. Mr. Creegan, I appreciate you joining us today. And thank you for being our Turn Gentleman feature.
Eric, thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Of course.
All right.